Another film. Traveling backward in time has been a constant source of ideas for movies. Just last year, you'll recall, there was The Beautiful Time After Time. Last summer, The Ridiculous Final Countdown. Our next film, Somewhere in Time, falls somewhere in the middle. It's beautiful and ridiculous. It stars Christopher Reeve as a young modern-day playwright who falls in love with an actress who lived in the early 1900s. On vacation at a resort hotel, Reeve sees a portrait of the dead actress, and it's a case of love at second sight, because as the story develops, he has known her in another life. Reeve hypnotizes himself to get back to the year 1912 so he can meet her once again. Once he's back in 1912, he goes to a theater to see the actress perform. She spots him in the audience, breaks out of her character, and delivers an impromptu soliloquy aimed directly at him.
There must be something you like about him.
Yes, his absence. The man of my dreams has almost faded now.
And what man is that, miss?
The one I have created in my mind. The sort of man each woman dreams of in the deepest and most secret reaches of her heart. I can almost see him now before me. What would I say to him if he were really here? Forgive me. I've never known this feeling. I've lived without it all my life. Is it any wonder then I failed to recognize you? You brought it to me for the first time. Is there any way that I can tell you how my life has changed? Any way at all to let you know what sweetness you have given me? There is so much to say. I cannot find the words, except for these. I love you. And such would I say to him, if he were really here.
That's a nice speech, sweetly performed by Jane Seymour. Frankly, she's a lot more interesting in this film than Christopher Reeve is. That's because he, unfortunately, has been stuck for the first hour of the picture, boning up on time travel, buying turn-of-the-century clothing at Brooks Brothers, hypnotizing himself with tape recordings of his own voice, not given much of a chance to develop a character. Somewhere in Time makes the mistake of spending its first hour failing to convince us that time travel is possible, while the film's love story, which is convincing and could have been more so, it's given short shrift.
You know, I think you're absolutely right. When we spend an hour waiting for this great romance and waiting and waiting, seeing the picture of the woman on the wall, looking at her handwriting in the ledger, reading her old newspaper clippings, looking at her old playbills, and then finally, when he hypnotizes himself, goes back 68 years, and we're all set for this great romance, and it's a one-night stand.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I think there's an explanation for it. It's easier to do the scenes of showing photographs, of listening to a tape recorder. That's easier to do than writing dialogue between two characters. So they went the easy way. And there's another film coming up in this show where, again, they avoid a relationship. Relationships are tough to write. That's why the film has been structured this way, and it's a disappointment.
On the other hand, I think they did a good job of casting with Jane Seymour, because if you're going to have this woman who is worth going all the way back to 1912 to visit, I think Jane Seymour really has kind of an aura, kind of an inner beauty that is even more important than just physical beauty in terms of indicating his obsession.
Yes, he does.
As for Christopher Reeve, on the other hand, I was a little bit disappointed in him. I liked him very much in Superman, but in this picture he seemed, I was afraid he was going to bump into the furniture, you know. He kind of looked like he had another suit on underneath the suit he was wearing.
I agree with you. We also didn't like Somewhere in Time, the Christopher Reeve time travel romance. The first hour is pure torture as we wait for him to get back to 1912. 2 no's for that.